Good evening. Shortly before 5:30 p.m. tonight, we received a 911 call for service to a group home in this West Springfield community. This group home is known to the Fairfax County Police Department. The 911 caller described a woman inside the group home who was throwing things, acting violently, acting erratically, and was threatening to harm herself and the other occupants of the group home. The call for service was dispatched, and two Fairfax County police officers arrived on the scene within 7 minutes. They made their way into the home. It was a chaotic scene with lots of activity occurring as the two Fairfax County police officers pulled up. They made their way inside the home. They were confronted and advanced upon by a woman with a large knife. That knife was recovered at the scene. One of the two Fairfax County police officers discharged his firearm and struck the suspect in the abdomen. The suspect was given immediate first aid by the two Fairfax County police officers and is being treated at a local hospital in critical condition right now. We take all police-involved shooting scenes and investigations very seriously. Our Major Crimes Bureau is investigating, and our Internal Affairs Bureau is also on the scene investigating as well. So this is something, again, that we take seriously. We have body camera footage. Both Fairfax County police officers had their body cameras on, and those body camera, the body camera footage will obviously be a key part of this investigation and our review of this matter. I can take any questions.
Chief, have you looked at the body camera video yet, and what does it show?
I have, and what my preliminary review shows me is exactly what I described to you. The police officers arrived on the scene again within about 7 minutes. They entered the home that had at least 4 occupants, to include our suspect. And when they got inside the home, they went through a back door. They were immediately confronted by a woman who was armed with a large knife. She told the officers, "I'm not going to stop." And she told the officers that she was going to kill them. And actually, her words were, "I'm going to stab you," were her words, at least the words that I heard. And the officers were demanding her to drop the knife. She didn't drop the knife. And then at some point, she made a decision to advance on the police officers armed with the knife. And that's when one of the two police officers discharged his firearm.
You had said you were familiar with this group home. Were you familiar with her at all? Had any past history?
I'm not sure. That's something we're going to know relatively quickly, and we'll share that information once we verify it. But I do know that our police department has been called to this group home on more than one occasion.
Can you tell us anything more about the knife? Was it a kitchen knife? Would you describe it as a machete?
No, I describe it just preliminarily as a large knife with a handle and a large blade attached to it. We can certainly get into greater detail when we know more specific information.
Can you tell us anything about the nature of this group home? Like who?
No, I wish I could. I know that to include our suspect, who again, and if you go back to the initial 911 call for service, and I listened to that call for service and how it came in, the person who called 911 was some type of care provider who was inside the home, not a resident, but a care provider. And she described the behavior of the suspect as life-threatening, said she was acting violently, throwing things, and threatening to harm herself or others. And again, it's a very volatile, dangerous scene, and our police officers who responded did so with a great amount of bravery, and they went in that house to save lives. And I think it's safe to say that they may have just done so tonight. But this will be a thorough and objective investigation. All police-involved shootings must be taken very, very seriously. The community demands it, we demand it, and this one will be taken seriously as well.
Was anyone inside the home, anyone else? You mentioned the officers were not injured. Was anyone else injured? And then also, were the officers armed with any less lethal options? And did they attempt to use them, or was it pretty just immediate?
Well, I know from what I saw that when this woman was armed with a knife and advanced on the officers, that knife is certainly a deadly weapon. Again, it's all subject to investigation. The other persons inside the group home at the time were other occupants, and perhaps the original 911 caller who was, again, a healthcare provider of some sort. So the home was, or did rather, have several occupants at the time.
Two more questions, guys.
The age of the
I'm sorry, the
age.
suspect is approximately 30 years old. And we're not releasing the identity of our police officer, but I'll describe him as a veteran police officer.
and his status?
His status, he's going to be on a modified duty status pending the investigation.
Thanks, Chief.
All right,
Do you
thank you.
expect to release any of the video or the 911 calls?
Absolutely. We'll do that in due time. It's certainly important for the community to know, and that's why we have body-worn cameras, so we can be transparent. And we certainly intend to do that. Thank you, guys.